Hello, everyone, and good evening. How are we all doing? Sunny, can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect well.
Excellent. Good stuff. Welcome. Just give it a quick minute to get people in. I'm just going to do a little tweet. So if everyone wants to do a retweet, get the space shared a bit wider, and we'll get some more listeners in before we properly kick things off with our first steering committee election candidate. Right, some stuff. You can see we're filling up. Well, I shall kick things off. So, Sunny, welcome to the stage, and welcome everybody else. This is the first in our steering committee election series. We will be kicking off a new era of decentralized governance on VeChain 4. Very exciting times for the foundation as we look ahead to 16 talented candidates that will be coming and trying to earn your vote over the next 2 weeks. So, this is a very exciting opportunity for the community to really express their say and their voting power, and build a foundation in the way you want. So
Sure.
just to give you all some background, we've obviously been asking questions over the last few weeks. So we've pulled together a series of questions from the community that will test our candidates. So without further ado, I'll kick things off with a nice introduction. Now, I don't think Sunny necessarily needs an introduction. I think we all know him very well, but as a matter of course, Sunny, please introduce yourself. Could you tell us a little bit of background about yourself, and give us a rundown of your work history?
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Sunny, and I grew up from a very normal family, a small town nearby Shanghai. It's like 2.5 hours driving. And I'm 43 years old right now, and actually this year is my 10th year's anniversary to join the crypto space. And basically, I had a very, let's say, well, I had an engineer background. And before I start VeChain, I have been working in multiple multinational companies. In the last job, before I created VeChain, was the chief information officer for Louis Vuitton. People usually ask me that kind of question, like how a guy selling bags for a living, kind of end up into the technology side of blockchain side, especially. But actually, my job was, kind of building up the bridge between the business and technology. Either you try to find a technical solution to answer some, business challenges or questions, or when you find, let's say, new technology, you will think about how to apply, how to improve the business side, or how to help the business create the value for business, that type of the job. So from the beginning, um, when I get taste about the blockchain itself, and actually there was no even the name of the blockchain at that time. Very few actually. It's just the Bitcoin and some other coins, and I get fascinated about the Bitcoin and also the blockchain technology behind that. I even start to pick up coding. Like I haven't do it for like more than 10 years, I think. Um, and then I find even more fascinated about the technology behind. And so I decided I decided to like throw myself into that. And for sure, I played cautious. I didn't like when I finished reading the white paper of the Bitcoin. I like just threw away everything. I tried to jump into that. No, I played very cautiously, and I started to do everything I can for the involving in the blockchain side. I do mining. I did the mining, and I did the building up the mining pools, and I start to meet lots of people. Actually, I really appreciate the journey and also the experiences in Louis Vuitton, or let's say opportunities when I work in Louis Vuitton because I got to travel around the world. So every time I travel to some city and I try to find out if there is a meetup, a Bitcoin meetup somewhere. And after 2 and 3 years, yeah, a little bit more than 2 years, I was, I made a decision like, okay, this is the right thing to do, and also this is a very promising future, and I really love this technology. And also, I find my place in this in the entire crypto space. Back the old days, I find out, most of the people in the crypto space are quite techy. Um, and I feel like, okay, if the technology is really great, the space will need someone like me to try to bridge the technology eventually to the real value. So 1 plus 1, I quit my job and start VeChain, and it has been almost 8 years now. So that's about me.
Amazing stuff. So obviously you mentioned, you've experienced those real world issues that made you recognize problems. Could you elaborate a bit more about what kind of problems you saw in the business world that inspired you to actually launch, VeChain and address those problems?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, from the beginning, there was no too many applications. Only this coin, that coin, including the Doji, Litecoin, after the Bitcoin. Actually, at that time, people are very simple. Just sometimes just change a few parameters of the Bitcoin codes, and some people just change a name and logo and launch their own products. And actually, back the days, the process was very simple and very even feels like a joke at that time. It's like you go to the Bitcoin.org, the famous forum of the Bitcoin talk, and you post a post, including your GitHub address and the link, and also basically demonstrate your source code and leave your Bitcoin address and say like, okay, I'm gonna launch this project. Send me your Bitcoins. I'm gonna return back the new coins to you based on predefined ratio or something. And sometimes you feel like this is insane. How should I send the bitcoins for that? But actually, that was the early days situation. People trust people. Well, people has a belief. People trust each other, and that's actually the first let's say impression I got from crypto, from the Bitcoin, from the community. Is like the trust is everything. For sure, when I learn more and study more, I find out, the blockchain technology is about the trust, is a trust machine. I remember in 2014 or 15, there was a famous, very short article in Economist magazine to say blockchain, the trust machine. And then I start to, think about how to use the technology in the business world. And the first project in my mind was a very fresh project at that time. I was part of the global team to launch the track and trace for Louis Vuitton products. And I was just thinking like, okay, if we need to collaborate with external people, how are we going to build up the trust? And if we move this kind of project to the blockchain, that could really eliminate the barriers of the trust, and and start to build up the network effects, and it could be awesome. So everything just started from there. And actually, we the first customer I was trying to approach, or first the business user try to approach, was Louis Vuitton. And even though I got connections, but they didn't really take it. And eventually now I even feel a little bit disappointed because they try the consortium blockchain, which I don't really buy it. But the good thing is Givenchy took the bait, and we start from there. And in the 2016, we had the first case to manage even only one single SKU for Givenchy. And by end of 18 or 19, we cover 100% of leather goods, for supply chain management, to collaborate with the third-party manufacturers, retailers, and like wholesalers as well. So it's even today we're still working with them for that kind of case. So, I feel like we're so lucky to have such good customer as a first business user, even until today. So that's how everything started.
Amazing stuff. Now, obviously, there's a lot of diversity of potential applications for blockchain, right? It's the trust machine. It can work across many sectors. I just wanted to ask you, what would you say your most kind of personally interesting use case is, perhaps current or future?
Well, I get, time by time, when I get into, when I spend more and more time in the crypto space and the blockchain space, actually, I find out very interesting phenomena in the space. Firstly, everything evolves like super fast. And secondly, I have been through lots of, let's say, hypes and buy bubbles, even bubble explosions, and up and downs a lot. And actually, every time when we have a new topic, new trendy topic, from coins and from smart contracts, which Ethereum started in 2014, and following up ICOs and also some other stuff like from ICO, like IDO, IEO, but actually basically it's the same thing. It's just a different formats. Until the recent like DeFi, NFT. Very interesting thing is every time that kind of trendy topic was basically for tools or infrastructure services, including the layer one blockchain. But right now, I mean, it's let's say nowadays we're still going through a bearish market, and especially on serious unfortunate events happening like Luna, like recent like FTX or even Genesis. I think the whole market has been a little bit confused, but I took it in the bright side, in a good way. I think we're right at the age, and it's also right about the timing. We should, I mean, the whole market should go for, let's say, application side, or go for the real, the application could connect it to the real world and create the real value, that kind of thing. So it's basically like the internet history just repeated itself in the blockchain space as well. Um, so what we have been doing since 2018 as a first trial, and until now we're upgrading the strategy. We since last year we upgraded the strategy, and we have been working with a very good partner for the last 4 or 5 months to work on the new white paper, which could be released very soon, let's say before the March. And it's we're talking about the goal sustainability, because we believe this is like sustainability in the Web3 is like meant to be. It's a perfect match for each other. Sustainability implementation will definitely needs not only the Web3 technology, but also the mindset, the ideology, to try to maximize every individual's value or individual's capability. Every effort could be counted, and that means we're able to multiply individuals' efforts or contributions, and eventually become collectible impacts to create greater, much greater impacts. Because eventually, um, sustainability is not just a project, and actually has been like this for decades. People are saying, "Oh, we're doing a sustainability project. We're doing this or that." But sustainability cannot be done just by projects or products. It should be, like a daily life. It should be becoming people's behavior, become people's routines. Like every day you wake up, you just keep this doing, and even without knowing it or aware of it. So I think this is a perfect for Web3 way. So I believe, you know, sustainability is the most promising, let's say, promising use case for utilities, or the next trendy topic for the entire crypto space.
Absolutely. No, couldn't agree more. I mean, you could call me biased, but I definitely see it as a logical progression. So just to bring it back then to kind of your, work with the foundation in the past, what have you contributed to the VeChain Foundation, and what do you think you would consider your key achievements?
I started.
Pretty good one.
I did. Yeah, I think it answers everything. And I just wanted to, express my willingness and also strong belief about VeChain and also the VeChain's future. Well, VeChain started even before VeChain Foundation started in 2017, and before that, 15, 16. We have been trying the different cases. It's kind of like a preparation stage for VeChain get started, right? And we have been called. I mean, I was called by, let's say, VeChain project has been called, we call dinosaur project by some new young fellows. It was last year. I was in the LA and having a dinner with a bunch of crypto kids, and young fellows just joined the crypto space. They don't know me. I don't know them actually. So when we start to explain what we have been doing, they were like, "Wow, it's kind of like one of the dinosaur projects." And honestly, it's I take it a compliment. I'm very proud about that because we can see the projects coming on and go, come and go like all the time. It's very rare to see some projects, have been lasting for so long and keep um, focus on what we believe from the beginning and still continue to upgrade, still continue to move on. And, eventually this is a survival's game. I mean, not only for the crypto space, but actually for any kind of new technology space. It's about a survival. As long as believe what you do, believe the right thing to do, and keep moving on. You can have some bumps, you can make some mistakes, but as long as you can survive, you will must be the last one to enjoy the final success. So still keep doing it, and I can share one story, very true. Last year, I was in one of the events organized by Draper. Since Team Draper is also our investor, and personally, I'm also the investor for Draper Funds as well, from long time ago. And when I met Team Draper, I was like, "Hey, Mr. Draper, long time no see." For the COVID things, I have been traveling for too much. And Tim was asking me the question like, "Hey, Sunny, are you still with VeChain?" I was, yeah, for sure. It was funny. I mean, I'm sure he has been seeing so many different, projects on and off or go and come, that kind of the situation. And he feel like, I mean, actually, the funny thing is we have been working with Draper's team for constantly, but he was he would just instantly pop up this question. So what I'm saying, like, it's not that easy to be in this space for that long and still keep doing, keep delivering, and with quite good future ahead of us.
100%. And then I guess we could logically lead on here. So obviously you were an original member of the steering committee. So what are areas you think you've succeeded with the steering committee, and where do you think you've fallen short? How could you use that as a kind of guiding light for the future of the steering committee?
Um, well, that's a really good question, actually. Um, but we have been through different stages, different years, and also the different market situations. Um, not only the VeChain is kind of like a startup and getting things just started, just for a few years, but even the whole market has been evolving like super fast as well. So every time I talk to my team, I was like, okay, you're facing this kind of challenge, this kind of difficulties. But honestly, if you look back to 2015, 16, or 17, when we just get started, the situation is much, much better. So I think being a steering committee is like you have to adapt to yourself, um, not only to the market situation, to the evolvement or progress of the technology development, but also to the team itself. Actually, I think the most learning also I could consider is one of my most big failures is about keep the team riding with me, or growing with me, growing with VeChain, with the whole market all the time. Um, so we can, I mean, if you are the long time supporter, or we call ex-note holders for VeChain, you must know, the core team of VeChain has been shifting quite often. Not often, but quite a lot in the past 7 or 8 years. Um, so it's very hard because also, and also very important to have a team to work with you and to grow with you, um, because you basically you cannot do everything by yourself, and also you cannot be the bottleneck for the whole team. So I was, like I said, I had a very long time engineering background. I always try to solve things, tackle some products or tackle some technical challenges. That's what I like. But on the other hand, you know, in terms of the team management, in terms of the governance, in terms of how to motivate the team or find the right people, put in the right position, and also grow the people, grow the team is also very important. I was asked about like, okay, what is the job like to be a CEO? I think it's pretty pretty straightforward and also simple. I take care about three things. Firstly, is about the resources, not only about the money, but also the business connections, finding the right people, that kind of resources. Okay. So first thing, you can say money, you can say resources. The second thing is the things, meaning like what should we do? What do we do? Basically, is define the strategy, and also executing the strategy or even upgrading the strategy all the time. So it's a little bit even harder or more complicated. But the most difficult, most challenging thing is about the people. Like I said, you find the right people in the right position. You motivate the people to deliver, and when things go south, you need to find out how to comfort your team or how to even discipline your team, and eventually we like we still keep moving.
I guess that leads nicely onto how why is it that you want to rejoin the steering committee? What is it about this role that you find fulfilling?
Well, I would say like I still pretty confident. I know I'm a, let's say I'm a, firstly I'm a dinosaur as well. I had a lot of experiences in the crypto. I basically knowing what's going on, and I have been through up and downs for like a 3 or 4 cycles in the crypto space. So I can be very steady, whatever happens. And I know how to deal with the different timing, like how to deal with bull market, how to deal with bearish market. And I have been through so much challenges, so many challenges and so much difficulties. But eventually I'm a survivor. I'm one of the survivors here. And, I believe I'm very confident, I believe myself, are still able to lead the whole foundation and, to eventually reach our goal. So, and honestly, I think I really appreciate the last 10 years in the crypto space and the last 7 years, 8 years in the VeChain as well, because I learning from no one, or no, from like a CEO newbie, and eventually are able to bring VeChain to today's position, and it's still having a lots of bright future to go. Um, and I'm very confident, like I can lead the team continue to reach to the next all-time high.
Great stuff. And obviously, if you were to become a steering committee member, obviously you would be helping oversee and aid the operational teams. So how do you see your skills kind of enhancing and enabling those teams?
Even before I started VeChain, I've been working in multiple different multinational companies, and I took multiple different roles. For example, when I was in Louis Vuitton, I was managing a team in Singapore with people from the different countries, even speak the different types of English. And someone with a French accent, someone with a different accent, um, and and also I got experiences before to coordinate a global team to even in a different time zone to reach to finish global projects, whatever like track and trace project I've been talking to. Um, um, I really appreciate that time in Louis Vuitton, because when you're a CIO for China, it doesn't mean you don't have any other jobs. So I lead one team in Singapore, part of the global projects for several projects, coordinate the colleagues from U.S., from even Brazil, um, from Europe for sure, and also I've been traveling around. So that's how I train my English, how I practice my English. Unfortunately, I don't speak that much French. Even I spent quite a few years in Louis Vuitton. But basically, let's say I think one of the important thing is how do you understand different people with different background, different experiences, um, and even different gender, different intention or different skills, but eventually pull up a team um, and collaborate each other and fulfill and eventually lead them to the final destination, to the final goal. So I'm let's say I got an experience, and also in the last 7 8 years, I've been train myself and actually forced to train myself to be better and better. So those experiences is a great treasure and assets for myself.
Awesome. Looking ahead then, in a hypothetical, you were to get the spot on the steering committee, what do you think the core focus of the VeChain Foundation should be in the coming years?
It's pretty easy to answer because we define the strategy, we define the roadmap. So starting from 18, we start to brew this kind of idea to find the most promising use cases or utilities to connect it to the real world. Plus, from the beginning, we have this kind of goal, we have this kind of purpose or mission in our side. I want a VeChain to be the platform, to be the public blockchain platform to connect to the real world for the mass adoption, to let the people, more and more people, to enjoy the benefits of using that kind of technology with or without knowing it. And we have been identified sustainability as the next strategy. And also, like I just shared, we believe sustainability needs Web3, and the most promising Web3 utility or use case should be sustainability. And our roadmap is pretty simple. We're working on the white paper. It should be released in March, early March. Oh, by the way, we just announced the summit in Vegas, March 4th. So we're gonna announce the white paper. We're gonna share everything. Now it's almost done, but we still try to make it like looking better with wordings, proofing, everything. So after the white paper release, basically, we're going to make a statement to show what our narrative, what our understanding, how we believe that, and how we want to do it. There are lots of things. So I think it's very interesting to find out. I think VeChain is the only one project in the crypto space, is keep upgrading not only the technology side but also the white paper side. This is the third version of VeChain's white paper, so you can see the escalating steps. I'm really proud of this. So after the white paper, we're gonna spend time to communicate, and we're gonna have a more engagement with our community members. People are supporting VeChain, starting spreading the words, explain to everyone, and calling for builders. At the same time, we the technical team we recently built in Dublin office, gonna continue to deliver, the tools and the services to enable more builders or ease the job for more builders to build applications on the VeChain side. Well, I gonna spoil a little bit. We're gonna launch the new wallet. We're gonna have a new type of, let's say, Explorer. Well, actually, it's still VeChain stays, but upgrade to be more to with some features, be friendly to sustainability areas. So we're not going to stop just right there. We're going to continue to deliver any tools, any services which could ease the job to do more sustainability implementations or build up the use cases. And then the next step is collaborate with our global partner, to go to the market, to majorly to Europe, to US, Southeast Asia as well. Eventually, we want to reach the goal. We want to build up a sustainable ecosystem with billions of people are able to use that on a daily basis. So actually, this afternoon, when I meet our core team in office, I threw up this kind of ambition and challenges, and to ask them, what do you think about our next version or our next upgrades, even for the layer one blockchain or layer two applications, to be able to answer this kind of the challenges. So that could be that is our next focus for 3-5 years, and it's about the growth phrase, when we stayed in 2018.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I mean, we've all seen the roadmap. I'm sure it's jam-packed. Antonio and team have been working very hard.
Yeah. I do have a request. Maybe we can open up for anyone in the space who wants to ask a question.
Sure, we could do that. I mean, guys, if you got guys and gals, if you got questions down there, put your request in now. It's your opportune moment to ask Sonny a question.
Yeah, it's AMA, right? Ask me anything.
Yeah, no, awesome. I'm not seeing any through yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the hands to come in. Maybe they're starstruck. Oh, I see. We've got one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, they've rescinded. Fat thumb moment. Well, Sonny, how about while we leave that out in the room and we'll let people think their questions up. Maybe we'll do.
Sure.
Let's broaden it up.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Let's not waste any time.
Yeah, totally. So we've covered, steering committee, some excellent answers there. If we go a bit more broad now, let's go to some aspirational questions. So here's a hypothetical for you. Well, I suppose you kind of already answered this. But given enough time and resources, where do you want to take VeChain's technologies?
What do I take?
Where do you want to take them? Like, what's your grand vision? Given the time to play out and, the development and everything that's required, what's your end goal, or not end goal, but what's your, an aspiration for the technology down the line?
Well, even from bottom of my heart, I believe VeChain could be everywhere. We tried everywhere from the beginning. We have been attacking automobile industry, food safety, luxury brands, retail business, sustainability for sure. But one thing I learned, even we believe not only VeChain, let's say blockchain technology broadly, could be everywhere. Could be the next version of the internet. Could be acting a very important infrastructure for everyone's life, daily life. But we're still, let's say, we have to concentrate right now. So that's why we identify the sustainability as the next strategy, and we're gonna keep doing that. And honestly, if I can build up, or let's say I can lead the whole team to build up, let's say, the sustainable ecosystem, have billions of people using that on a daily basis, and millions of developers building up thousands or tens of thousands of applications, that would be really awesome. That's actually my goal.
Amazing. That would be fantastic. I mean, we all believe in the world powered by blockchain. VeChain seems to be, leading the path there. I can see we've since got a few hands raised. Sorry, so I'll give it to the person I saw come up first. Oh, Greek community, you've just disappeared off my list. But okay, well, in that case, we'll hop over to Brad. Welcome to the stage, sir. What is your question for Sunny? You have the power to speak.
Hello, Brad.
Hey guys, yeah, sorry, I was going through the portal, so it didn't give me all the audio. Yeah, if you're calling on me. Hey Sunny, how you guys doing? Hey Jake, hey, what's up? Yeah, mine's actually, so you're talking about scaling to millions and billions of people or use cases for VeChain. I know on the technology roadmap, and maybe might even be a question for Antonio, but I saw discussion of a layer 2 there, and I was wondering like what scalability model do you envision for VeChain as block space becomes scarce and we need to eventually look for other ways to facilitate transactions?
Well, yeah. Firstly, Antonio will have his moment, so he can answer on his role. But for me, I would say we gotta follow up the requests or the demands from the business requirements, or let's say the use case requirements, or even the potential use case requirements. So one of the topics, for example, one of the possible layer 2, let's say, direction or services we wanted to I wanted to build, is about zero knowledge proof, or privacy protection on the layer 2 basis. So which is one of the challenge right now. I mean, let's say when you are dealing with different transactions, VeChain is a little bit different, let's say, comparing the Ethereum. Let's say on Ethereum, most of the transactions happening on, let's say, assets related, right? What VeChain's on VeChain, most of the transactions actually linked to business smart contracts, and which means there were more data, there were more business data, or there were more event later on for the sustainability area. There will be more, let's say, personal data even, or data represents activities on the blockchain. So we need to have kind of privacy protection to make sure people can use that, enjoy the benefits, but without worry about the privacy leaking. So if we talk about, well, for sure, when we talk about that in the Web3 concept, the data or the activity or digitalized activity also could be meaning the different type of, another type of assets. But still, this is one of the direction for the layer two. And in terms of scalability, if you're asking for that, let's say we evaluate the different solutions right now in the market, like sharding, but still we don't see, let's say, quite confident right now, because we can see even Ethereum has been struggling with the sharding for quite a long time, and it may be not the real, I mean, maybe not the ideal solution for the scalability, but even with the layer two, it's another way to deal with scalability issue, I would say. We can put the different layer two or even different side chain to take care of the, let's say, the scalability challenges. But right now, I would say a very fundamental principle for me is following the needs, following the requirements from use cases.
Yeah, that's actually kind of you pointing to a few of the examples from Ethereum, or at least taking lessons learned. I think that's one of the key advantages that blockchain, or that VeChain itself, needs to really wrangle, because as everyone knows, we hail from Ethereum source code, right, with a few changes that you guys implemented, and I think there is, because we haven't had as much build done here as the native EVM chain, that there are things that we can see that they have had to, are growing pains that they've experienced, I'll say, that we can implement here, and maybe even shortcut to have a better outcome.
Well, I mean, yeah, we come from there, but actually right now I would say 70% of the codes has been different, and even in terms of the consensus part, we have done lots of iterations or changes, but basically our principle from the beginning is following up the needs. We were the first one to deliver the like multitask transactions, multi-party payment, which actually has been used a lot by different platforms right now, different community projects as well, business projects as well. So I mean, it again, I think business requirements or business use cases should drive the technology developments, and also it's easier to prioritize. And for sure, also on the other hand, we need to do the predictions and allow us to do some predictions. You got to think about your strategy. You got to think about the destination you wanna go, or the next target you wanna go. Plus, you got to keep close eyes on what's going on in the market. Not only like we want to learn from others, and also we don't mind to share our inventions or our deliveries to the other platforms as well, because eventually that's spirit of the blockchain space, right? Open source and sharing and building up things together.
I'm really happy that you said that last bit. Not to be too critical, but I think one of VeChain's failings to this point has been the isolation that we've experienced within the greater crypto ecosystem. VeChain has kind of lived in a bubble for some reason, and I think expanding outside of that, technically and socially, would be a really big boon for our ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree.
Good stuff. Brad, thank you very much for your answers. I'm going to shift over to the next one now, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. I noticed we had Designer up here for a long time. Sorry for overlooking you. I shall bring you to the stage and let you ask your question. Greek community, you're up next. Now, connecting. Do you know what? Greek, I'll bring you up now. Just hold that question. All right, Designer, it's all yours.
This is George from Athens.
Yeah, don't mute. Don't be
Okay,
shy.
hello. This is George from Athens. It's a great pleasure you to have in space, Lou. And we have very good and very nice fans here in Greece of VeChain, and we are a very strong community, and we support each other, and and
Mhm.
we are very happy that we are a part of your family. Now, we have two, of course, sustainability is the most important idea, as you have mentioned, in the
Mhm.
21st century. And that is why we are here to support this group and, of course, this project. Now, we have two questions from the community.
Okay.
The first one is, are you planning to continue this aggressive advertisement and idea of expanding VeChain idea in a globalized environment as you did with the UFC last year? With new ideas
Mhm.
and new connections and promotions. And the second is since it is very important since this idea is actually a connection of the actual world with the digital world, is there any planning of, for example, in the coming years to list the company, this foundation, to any exchange, to a real global exchange, for example, New York Stock Exchange or I don't know Milano Exchange, and for example, attracting a new investment clients that are dealing with. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so the first question is about, I won't call it like aggressive. um, Actually, we have been evaluating this kind of opportunity before we made the decision very carefully. The reason we choose UFC, if firstly, it's, it's a most growing and a fast growing sports in the whole world. They have a 900 million viewers for UFC, and they have like 50 games every year, like almost once every week, and it's a perfect scenario for let's say for VeChain community, for the community members to engage each other, having a good time, and also have a good conversations, talking, and sharing the laugh and sharing the inspiration, having a great ideas all the time. So it's most likely I would consider this not only about the promotion or marketing, but also engagement window with the community. Actually, I was proud to hearing the feedback from the community members who were ever going to the UFC games and also the VFAM gatherings. They call it, this is the best engagement in the entire crypto space. I really like that. So I would say not really aggressive, but we're gonna base on what we're going to do, what we are going to deliver. For the different, continue to evaluate the opportunities, and we have been receiving lots of offers, but we need to be very selective, use every penny very wisely, and to maximize the returns of any investment. And on top of this, also, like I mentioned, after the white paper, we're gonna continue to we're gonna promote our white paper, promote our narrative, our statement, and calling for more builders, not only from crypto side but also from sustainability side. So we already planned several events, several participation in the 2023, and every year we're gonna collaborating with, let's say, some events like WMC, to go to the traditional side to explain and also promote our ideas and try to bring more business partners to building up the ecosystem together, because honestly it's not like one man's job and not one company's job. It should be co it should be a multi-parties collaboration and building up things together, maximize the feature or the value of the blockchain technology. So we're going to continue to do that and even go further from the crypto side to the traditional side. This is very important because, not only about the VeChain itself, but also we should bring more non-crypto people to the crypto people. And I believe the sustainability projects or sustainability use case will be the, should be the best bridge for this. So that's a first question. And the second question, I believe VeChain has been listed in multiple different global exchanges, like a Crypto.com, like a Binance from the beginning, and we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue to list more, exchanges, even some regulatory exchange, more regulatory exchanges per se as well. In terms of the traditional security markets like New NYSE or Milan or London Exchange or Hong Kong Exchange, I think it's not really the same thing because the token is a token, company or stock, is the other thing. But right now, we don't see any possibility. Majorly, I don't see such regulations in place. But for sure, if let's say nobody knows, right? In the future, if some crazy merging from the traditional financial market and the crypto market could merge, and why not? Eventually, I believe, listing or not listing, or the investor looking at VeChain or not is really based on the value they can create. And we have been working on this for many years, and we're going to continue to work on this purpose, for another, I don't know, decades or even 50 years. I may not last there for that long, but we're going to continue to do that.
Awesome.
Eventually, it's our goal is to build up the sustainability ecosystem, and we got to make sure whatever from the team structure, from governance, from technology, from the use case, we have to be sustainable as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff. Thank you, Greek community, for your solid questions there. Just to let everyone know, we're kind of running low on time now, so we may have time for two, but most likely one. So we've got Walter V up on stage. I think you were next in line, so the field is yours. Feel free to ask your question to Sunny.
Hey guys, good evening everyone. Hi Sunny, it's VeChain here. First of all, it's very nice to hear from you. It's always good to have an update from your side, I have to say. Well, my question is pretty simple and straightforward. Seems that, the main topic is always to bring mass adoption. And as you might know, we've been working on digitals. So I would like to hear, your opinion about digitals, and if you believe that digitals could actually be a winning weapon for VeChain to bring adoption and to bring people from to Web 2 to Web 3 in this case.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, the answer could be very straightforward. VeChain starts the first use case with luxury brands, including using the NFC as the IoT chipset, and also with Shanghai Energy, using the sensors to monitor, and also with BYD case connecting to the car computers. So basically, we believe that, we start from there, physical, digital, and eventually becomes a phygital. Whoever come up with this name, it's a freaking genius. And also, if you read about what I have been writing, what I have written to my team, and also eventually we share in the public in January, in the new year, like my understanding about Web3, and I I put one line in my article, in my thing to write, is I believe the Web3 ecosystem or Web3 world, it must be a phygital ecosystem. So eventually, whatever it's just like people talking about a metaverse, but actually you cannot like 100% of time live in a virtual world or 100% of time live in a physical world. Eventually, it's just based on people's intention or people's willingness or people's preferences. You have a certain percentage of time in a virtual world, certain percentage of time in a physical world, and you want to have a smooth or seamless experiences to switch over digital world, physical world, and there are lots of things about a phygital concept. So definitely, this is something very essential, very critical for Web3, and also is very essential, very critical for VeChain as well. And if I got elected to be the next board of a steering committee, I'm gonna make sure this should be the key, one of the key concept or ideology or methodology for building up the Web3 ecosystem.
Thank you. It's really all I needed to hear. Thank you so much, Sunny.
Great stuff. Thank you, Vetliva. We've got 3 minutes. I'm going to hand it to Jim Bob for the final quick question. Jim Bob, the floor is yours. Hello, Jim Bob.
Hi. Hi. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for taking the time. Yeah, I wanted to get your view on what competition you felt VeChain had in the sustainability-focused blockchain space, with a particular view of SAP's Green Token, which is another POA-focused platform. Thanks.
Well, actually, it's I have been asking this kind of question, but in a different way. A few years ago, when people ask about the different platforms, different layer one blockchains, what do you think about the competitors? And firstly, I wanted to say, the different time has different competitors, but eventually I find out Ethereum seems like only one or two to be with us or we with them, whatever, for such long time. And secondly, I believe eventually, it's still like a very early stage for the entire space, not only for the crypto, not only for the blockchain, but also for sustainability as well. And so far, I think I don't want to consider them as a competitors, but more like join forces to let's say push this kind of the efforts or the resources of the entire crypto market go to that kind of direction. So eventually, let's say for the summit in March 4th, we want to host it in Vegas. We want to make the summit to be open and inclusive, not exclusive. Actually, we're inviting some of the projects, who are devoting themselves also in the sustainability area, even they're not building up applications on VeChain for now or not yet. That's okay. That means they're also the builders, they're also the pioneers, want to drive themselves, or devote themselves to use or leverage the blockchain technology to contribute to sustainability implementations. So it's kind of like a comrades, like a colleagues, like teammates. So we should. I wanted to broaden our vision. Don't consider them consider them as competitors, but as like teammates, as joint forces. And for sure, I believe from what I learned, what I observe, most of the projects could focus on, let's say, one area or one specific area. That's okay. That's not wrong. But actually, sustainability as a topic or as a concept is much bigger than what we just saw, what we just think. For example, you talk about a green token or green or low carbon token, whatever. That's normal, because when people think about a sustainability, they usually think about a green, think about a environmental, but actually environmental or climate change is just the one pillar of sustainability. So we, for let's say a few weeks, when we released our new white paper, you will be, let's say, impressed about what our understanding, our interpretation in terms of sustainability, because actually sustainability is much broader concept involving human capital, that kind of concept, governance as well. So it's more than just the green, just the climate change impacts. Actually, there are many things, many concepts. But the good thing is VeChain has been collaborating with one of the top firms in the world, with decades of experiences and global experiences in sustainability area. So I believe our narrative so far is the most comprehensive one, as I observe in the market. So we want to, let's say, make our summit, make our the future building more open, inclusive, so we can work together. We can share like good things with each other, even learning experiences with each other. But also, I believe right now VeChain is the sole leader in this kind of space.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. That's pretty comprehensive. I only draw your attention to SAP. Obviously, they're a major corporate who's obviously attacking a lot of the same sort of market that you are, or the VeChain is. And they've recently released a kind of track and trace type of product based on green token. So yeah, it seemed like there was quite a lot of crossover
it has to be like that, honestly. One thing we learned from the past experiences of VeChain, whatever the track and trace, or even like authentication or supply chain management, it's kind of like a first step. Basically, with that kind of the use cases, we're migrating the traditional or the normal business processes or the human activities onto the blockchain, right? And then the next step will be like, what is the value of those data existing on the blockchain? What is what they can make it differently? What those data are meaningful? Actually, we believe the next promising direction is a sustainable value or sustainable indicators to drive the whole world becoming better.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks, Jim Bob. Appreciate your questions and coming up onto the stage. Right, we have